Welcome to Meeple Mentor. I'm Jared, and we're about to play Rescuing Robin Hood. Let's take a look. I'll show you how. And feel free to pause the video as needed to follow along with your copy of the game. For your convenience, I've added chapter timestamps in the description to the different sections of the tutorial. I'm doing this tutorial based on early versions of the rulebook using a pre-release copy of the game. The game will hit Kickstarter to be crowdfunded in November 2020. What you see here may change in the final production, including some rules. For example, it's been confirmed each card will have their own unique art. Make sure to subscribe to the Meeple Mentor channel and hit the notification bell below the video so you don't miss any of my latest content. In the game of Rescuing Robin Hood, players will work together to overcome the Sheriff of Nottingham and his guards to rescue Robin Hood from imprisonment. It's a light deck-building game where rescuing villagers along the way lets you recruit them to your deck to help fight. 1 to 5 people will take the role of a main character to lead a band of villagers to Castle Nottingham. The villagers have been locked up for not paying taxes and are guarded by various numbers of guards. The quest to save Robin Hood takes 5 days, which equates to 5 rounds, with each character having their own stats and bonuses. Robin Hood is scheduled to be executed at the end of the 5th day, if not saved. Working together and planning who to save each day will be a necessity. Players can share unspent skills and bonuses to the next player to give them a boost towards bigger attacks. The first 4 days lets players try to rescue villagers and strengthen their band of outlaws, while the 5th day is all about storming the castle walls to save Robin Hood. Should players save Robin Hood, everyone wins the game and get a chance to fight the sheriff himself as a bonus. So let's start with setting up the game. First, find the sheriff's guards cards. Separate the red ones from the blue ones and shuffle each deck separately. Place them nearby on the left of the table. Create supply pools of the skill tokens. Sort them by their type. Give each player an attribute tracker card with 8 cubes. Everyone will get 2 cubes of each color. These will be used on the card to track how many of each attribute a player has in a round. Shuffle the band leader cards and deal 2 to each player. Players should choose one of them to be and return the other to the game box. Some will have attributes shown at the top left of their card, or have special powers written at the bottom of the card. If playing a 5-player game, deal to 2 players first, then take their rejected cards and shuffle again to deal out to the other players. Any unused band leader cards should return to the box. Find the villager cards and separate them into different decks based on the symbol shown in their upper right corner. The villagers without a symbol are the starting villager cards. Shuffle each of the decks separately and place the bronze, silver, and gold villager decks on the table face up. From the shuffled starting villager cards, deal each player 8 cards to create their starting outlaw deck. Each player should shuffle their 8 cards into a personal deck in front of them. Any remaining starting villager cards should return to the game box. Gather the New Day setup cards and pull out the ones for your player count. The rest won't be used. Divide them into 3 piles, days 1 and 2, days 3 and 4, and day 5. Shuffle these separately and take 1 from each pile to create the New Day stack. Day 5 will be on the bottom and days 1 and 2 on top. Underneath this, place the Nottingham Castle card. The Sheriff of Nottingham card should be placed to the left with his sword face up. Put Robin Hood's card to the right, showing him with shackles. Leave an open space to the right of the table for rescued villager cards. Now you're ready to set up for day 1. Look at the top card of the New Day stack. Deal out 3 rows of villager and guard cards as shown. Villagers will sit to the left of the row face up. The symbols depicted on the setup card matches the symbols of the villagers in their decks. The number and color of guard cards in the rows are shown on the setup card as well. From the appropriate guard deck, place the cards to the right of the villagers face down, overlapping each other in a row so you can see how many cards are there. Do this for each row. Lastly, the rightmost guard card of each row should be flipped face up. Give the starting player token to the person who most recently climbed a tree. Now you're set up and ready to play. The first round is already prepared since we just set everything up for the beginning of the game. However, on future rounds, you'll follow the instructions on the current New Day setup card to add rows of guards and villagers on the table. The 5th day has some unique setup steps for preparing Nottingham Castle, which I'll cover later. Based on what the card shows, you'll be creating separate rows of guards overlapping. The last card in the sequence is always flipped face up. The setup card also shows you which villager cards to add to the front of the row, representing them being in prison. Some of the New Day cards have bonuses shown on them that are given to each player for the round. After setting up the New Day, each player should draw 4 cards from the top of their deck. These cards make up their band of outlaws for the round. These cards can be laid face up in front of each player for everyone to see. Everyone should simultaneously count up each of the attribute totals from all 4 cards and their bandleader card. Use the color cubes on the attribute card to mark the totals. Use 1 cube for the ones place and the 2nd cube to mark the tens place. The blue trait is wit, the red is brawn, the green is stealth, and the yellow is jolliness. Additionally, check the bottom of your cards to see bonus skills you've earned this round. For each skill shown, take its matching skill token from the supply. There's skill tokens for cookery, scouting, and prayer. Once everyone's marked their attributes and gained skill tokens, each player gets a turn to make attacks against the guards. This goes in a clockwise order, starting with the player with the starting player token. Each player on their turn can make 2 separate attacks. I'll go into the details of how attacking works in a bit. After all players have taken their turn, you'll proceed to recruiting villagers. During the attacks phase, players may completely remove the guard cards in a villager's row. When that happens, these villagers sit in a rescued villagers area to be recruited at this point. From all the rescued villagers from this round, players may now take turns in clockwise order, choosing a villager from this pool. Players can recruit a card or pass. Keep going around recruiting until everyone is passed. Recruited cards sit in the player's discard pile. Not every villager card needs to be taken. The next step is to follow a few cleanup steps for the end of the day. First, look at the rows still on the table with guards and villagers imprisoned. These imprisoned villagers are placed in Nottingham Castle to remain in prison. Keep them in a pile near Robin Hood. Additionally, discard the guards remaining and place them next to the Sheriff of Nottingham. Now the non-recruited rescued villagers are moved to a separate pile called Sherwood Forest. I suggest keeping these to the left of Nottingham since the rescued villagers area is on the right. The number of villagers in Sherwood Forest can give players a bonus during the final battle of Day 5. Note that villagers in Sherwood Forest can no longer be recruited. Next, all players discard their band cards played this round to their discard piles, and return any unused skill tokens to the supply. However, do not return cookery tokens. These flip over to become mead and can be kept round to round until used. Lastly, pass the first player token clockwise. This next player will start the next round. The refine player deck step happens at the end of days 2 and 4 only. At the ends of days 1 and 3, players simply draw the next 4 cards from their deck to get a new hand for the round. After day 2, players may look through all their cards and choose 8 to keep. The rest are discarded to Sherwood Forest. With your chosen 8 cards, shuffle them up into a new draw deck and draw 4 cards to begin the next day. At the end of the 4th day, players don't need to discard down to 8 cards since there's only 1 round left. Instead, from their current deck of cards, players choose which 4 cards to use in the final round. This is known as their Dream Team, which will go with the band leader to attack Nottingham Castle. Place the extra villager cards in Sherwood Forest, and draw your 4 cards for the final round. Once everyone has their 4 cards in hand for the next round, begin the setup for the new day. At the end of days 2 and 4, you'll remove the new day setup card from the game and reveal the next card. During the attack phase, each player will get 1 turn in clockwise order to attack the guards in the rows laid out. The goal is to eliminate as many guards as possible, focusing on clearing as many rows as you can. The guards with blue backs range in stat values from 1 to 6, with an average of 3 strength. The red-backed cards range from 2 to 9 for each stat, with an average of 5 points. The distribution of the stats in the cards are evenly divided between wit, brawn, and stealth. On your turn, you may make up to 2 attacks. These can be on the same or different rows. Attacks use one of these 3 attributes: wit, brawn, or stealth. You must use a different attribute for the second attack. The jolliness attribute may be used before an attack to boost any of the 3 attacking stats. Each point of jolliness may be spent to add 1 point to the attribute being used in the attack. Other players cannot spend their jolliness to boost your attack. Additionally, skill tokens may be used before an attack. Any player may spend their collected skill token to boost a player's attack. There are 3 different skill tokens possible, which are gained from band leader cards and villager cards played. The skill tokens will be shown at the bottom of the cards. To use the token, just return it to the supply pool. The scouting skill token lets you immediately choose 2 guards in a single row and reveal them. Just flip them face up. The cookery skill token will give the attacking player +2 points towards any one of the 3 attacking traits. Unused cookery tokens will be flipped over at the end of the round to become mead. Cookery and mead skill tokens are the only things that can carry over round to round if unspent. Mead can be used to give you +1 jolliness. The prayer skill token has 2 possible uses. Firstly, each spent prayer token can be used to move any one guard to any position in any row. The guard can be face down or face up. If you move a face down guard to the front of a row, it will immediately flip face up. Or you may choose to spend 2 prayer tokens together to immediately defeat any guard card in any row. It can be a face down or face up card. Players are allowed to combine their tokens to do this if you choose. Remember that all skill tokens and jolliness bonuses must be used before starting an attack, never in the middle of an attack. An attack using wit is a push your luck approach and targets a single row. Look at your total points in the wit attribute. Choose a row to begin your attack. Wit attacks always target the guard at the front of the row. If you have the same or more wit points than the guard, it is outwitted. Set it aside face down for now. Subtract their wit points from your total. This is what you still have left to use on more guards in this attack. After outwitting a guard, you may try to outwit the next guard in the row or end your attack. Do not reveal the next guard until you decide. Of course, it may already be face up. If you want to continue the attack, reveal the next guard if necessary and compare its wit to your leftover wit points. If you outwit it, add it face down to the set aside guards. If you don't outwit the guard, they see through your charade and the attack completely fails. Return all outwitted guards to the row in the order they were defeated, easily done by flipping the stack and sliding them out. They will now be face up. When you have outwitted a guard and decide to stop your attack because you're sure you won't have enough wit to defeat the next guard, you'll successfully defeat the guards set aside. These outwitted guards may now be discarded. All defeated guards should sit in a communal discard pile near the guard decks. Then reveal the guard currently at the end of the row. If at any time there are no guards in the row in front of villager cards, these villagers are rescued. Place them in the rescued villagers area at the right of the table. These will be able to be recruited at the end of the round. A stealth attack uses a pick and choose attack method. Using the total points in your stealth attribute, you may select any number of guards in a single row, whether face up or face down. You must choose which ones and how many for the attack before revealing any face down cards. Once selected, flip them over. Make sure not to change their position in the row. Add the stealth points of each guard targeted and compare this total with your stealth. If you have greater than or equal to their sum, you have defeated them. If less than the combined total, the guards have discovered you and the attack fails. The selected guards remain in play face up in their positions. When defeating guards, remember to discard them to the guard discard pile. If the guard at the front of the row is face down, you should now flip it up. Lastly, you could attack with your brawn, which is an all or nothing attack. Add up your brawn total and choose a row to attempt to defeat entirely. Reveal all face-down cards in the row and add up their brawn points. If your brawn matches or exceeds their total, they are all defeated. If you have less brawn than the row's total, your attack fails. They've overpowered you. All the guards remain in play face up. The brawn attribute is unique in that any unused brawn you still have will get to carry over to the next player. This includes extra points left over from a successful attack or your total brawn points if you didn't do a brawn attack on your turn. These extra points are added to the next player's brawn total for an even bigger attack and chance of success. However, if you attempted a brawn attack and failed, the next player doesn't get any of your points. It's possible that multiple players pass on brawn points one after another. The points passed over can keep passing to the next player if unused like this. After completing your turn, your remaining jolliness points will also transfer to the next player clockwise. For this reason, you should keep track of how many jolliness points you spend to boost your attacks. Decrease your jolliness and increase the stat it's adding to when using it, so you'll have an easier time knowing how many jolliness points are left over. The next player can choose to use the jolliness as they wish, or continue letting the running total pass on to the next player after them. When your turn is done and you've passed on these points to the next player, you should reset your attribute tracker. They can't be used anymore this round, and no points are kept into the next round. Your new attribute totals will be based on your newly drawn 4 cards, plus your band leader card, of course. The 5th round has special setup and play rules. Take a look at the Day 5 New Day setup card. First, place Robin Hood's card and any imprisoned villagers with him side by side. To his right, deal rows of cards of guards as shown on the setup card. Place the Nottingham Castle card face up at the end of the bottom row. Don't reveal any other guards in this row. Then, reveal the guards at the end of each other row. Day 5 is also known as Storming the Castle. The castle card in the front must be attacked and removed first before any other guard cards can be targeted. Its row is known as the Walls. The other rows are known as the Courtyard. Put the Sheriff of Nottingham card face up above Robin Hood. To his right, place guards protecting him as shown on the setup card. Only reveal the card at the end of the row. For the 5th round, players may choose who gets the starting player token. Play continues clockwise from there. Each player should have their Dream Team hand of 4 cards to use. At the end of this round, if players successfully defeat the guards from the walls to the courtyard, they rescue Robin Hood and win the game. Otherwise, everyone loses. Defeating the sheriff is a bonus quest. Players must defeat the row of guards from the bottom row to the top, the walls, then the courtyard, then the sheriff. The row must be completely cleared before the next row can be attacked. Whoever clears the first card, the castle, gains an instant bonus of jolliness from the villagers in Sherwood Forest. They'll gain 1 jolliness for every 3 villagers in Sherwood Forest. Once players defeat the guards in the courtyard next to Robin Hood, he is immediately rescued. Congratulations! Your group has won the game. If you have additional attacks remaining and want to attempt to defeat the sheriff, you may flip over Robin Hood's card to have him help you. Whoever freed Robin Hood adds him to their band of outlaws and adds his attributes to their totals. You may not spend prayer tokens to remove either the Nottingham Castle card or the sheriff. They must be defeated using wit, brawn, or stealth. Additionally, the sheriff card must be the last card you defeat, so you may not target him with stealth unless also removing the cards in front of him. By defeating all the guards in front of the sheriff and the sheriff card himself, you succeed the quest and have liberated Nottingham and Sherwood Forest. As the Kickstarter goes on, the developer is working on some extra game modes and variants, including a solo mode. Right now, there's been an announced accelerated mode to play a quicker game, plus an expert mode which adds in special challenge cards. Keep an eye out for the campaign progress and check the updated rules for the finalized extra content. Follow the game's Kickstarter page and listing on the Board Game Geek website for more information. Become a backer to help it reach its funding goal, and I've included links in the description. The Meeple Mentor channel is now part of the board game community, the Gateway Network, made up of great upcoming board game content creators. Originally founded by the Gamecasters podcast, the network includes Instagrammers, podcasters, YouTubers, artists, and more. Click the link in the video's description or head over to the Gateway Network's Instagram to find great new content. I recommend checking out Meeple People Comedy for a hilarious scripted comedy series on YouTube. Thanks for watching this tutorial. Like and subscribe if you found this teaching helpful. Stick around to watch another Learn to Play video. And remember, teach when you can, but always be learning. See you next time.